All right. Oh, dear God. All right. So, okay. Looks like everything's working. Let me turn the volume down so that we're not hearing reverberation there, echoing. Okay. So the first person I have up is Lori Vallow. Um, because her bond got reduced to $1 million in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
Boise, Idaho, a judge on Friday reduced bail to $1 million for the mother of two missing children after her lawyer, it says he, but I'm assuming it's supposed to be her, lawyer contended at her first hearing in Idaho that the amount had been set too high because of media attention. Wearing faded orange and white striped jail garb and bright pink lipstick, Lori Vallow Daybell spoke little but nodded emphatically whenever her attorneys mentioned her desire to vigorously defend herself against the child abandonment charges. She told the judge she preferred to use her last name, Daybell, rather than Vallow, as she has been listed in some court documents. Her new husband, Chad Daybell, sat behind her in the small packed courtroom. On the other side of the room were Kay and Larry Woodcock, the grandparents of 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow. He and 17-year-old Tylee Ryan were last seen in September, and police in eastern Idaho say both Lori Daybell and her husband have lied about the children's whereabouts. The couple left Idaho the day after police came to question them about the children late in November, and Lori Daybell was arrested in Hawaii last month on an Idaho warrant. She waived extradition and made her first appearance in Idaho before Magistrate Judge Farron Edens. Sorry. Madison County Prosecutor Rob Wood told the judge that Lori Daybell had already defied one court order when she refused to take her children to Idaho authorities in February. He also noted that she's continued to collect Social Security payments meant for both children, even though they haven't been seen for months. This case didn't start as a criminal case. It started as a report of two missing children who are still missing, Woods said, detailing three mysterious deaths: Daybell's sudden move to Hawaii, and her alleged efforts to convince a friend to lie to police about the whereabouts of the children. Since this last summer, there have been an alarming pattern in the defendant's life, Woods said. Daybell's attorney, Edwina L. Cox, told the judge that the $5 million bond initially set by Hawaii judge before her extradition was excessively high. A recent murder case in the same area of Idaho had bonds set at $1 million, Elcox said. A bond set this high denies Lori due process, Elcox told the judge, suggesting the high amount was a reaction to the large amount of news coverage the case has generated. Child desertion charges are so rare in Idaho that she's never seen a case in a decade of practicing law, Elcox said. It is abundantly clear the prosecutor just needed to find a charge to fit this case because of all the media attention in this matter, she said. The judge agreed that the bond should be reduced, but also said he wanted Daybell closely monitored. If she posts bail, she will have to wear a GPS tracking ankle bracelet, stay within the region, and maintain regular contact with her attorneys, he said. He set a preliminary hearing for March 18th. Investigations have said the tangled case stretches across the western U.S. and includes probes into three mysterious deaths. Lori Daybell's estranged late husband, Charles Vallow, was shot and killed by Lori's brother, Alex Cox, in Phoenix last July. Cox, who said the shooting was in self-defense, died of unknown causes several months later. Lori Daybell's new husband, meanwhile, became a widower just 2 weeks before he married Lori Daybell. Chad Daybell's late wife, Tammy, died in October, and though her obituary said the death was from natural causes. Law enforcement became suspicious when Daybell quickly remarried. Tammy Daybell's remains have been exhumed, but the autopsy report has not yet been released. So what do you think about them reducing her bond? Do you think she's going to be able to bail out?
Most likely. Did you just say that she's collecting Social Security money for the
Oh
kids?
yeah. Oh yeah. That's what the article
What?
says.
How is it
Yeah.
possible? Why would she be collecting Social Security money for the kids? I don't get that.
Maybe their dad's dead, or maybe their dad's in the military, or I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh,
It didn't say.
that's odd. I just
Hi, the
I
Bryan
don't understand
clan,
why
and
they
hi,
can't get.
Eminem Mama.
Hello, hello. I don't understand how they can't just get her and the boyfriend, a husband now, right? He's a husband, and get
Right.
them to tell them where these children are. I mean, what is the big secret? If they didn't do anything wrong to them, what's the big secret? Where are these children? They've
Right.
been gone for all this long.
Right. I
It's
don't
baffling.
understand it. I really don't understand it. Well, I mean, you can't really make somebody do something. I mean, you can put people in jail, but you can't make them tell you something that's in their head. That's can't really do that.
But I
So
mean, it's got to be bad enough to where she'll go to jail instead of telling what happened. So it's got to be something. It can't be. Oh yeah, they're just hanging out somewhere, because
unless she
she's going to
unless she
jail for
doesn't want well, unless she doesn't want whoever she thinks is going to get a hold of her children to get a hold of them.
the
I mean, I don't.
grandparents.
Well, maybe that's.
That'd be the only ones, right?
I
Because the
guess.
dad's dead. The father's dead.
Oh, well, if the father's dead,
So
that's why
it
they're
has to
getting.
be.
That's why the kids are getting Social Security. They get a death benefit if they're minors and their parent dies. You get a death benefit until you're 18.
Wow. I
You
didn't
didn't
know
know
that.
that?
No.
Yeah.
Huh.
Each child gets a certain amount of money each month. I guess it's supposed to help, make up for um, the inability of the father at that point, or the parent at that point, to provide for their child.
Right. Right. Yeah. I figured maybe both parents would have, but not just one. But
I don't know how in the
yeah, I
world
don't know
she'd
what
get out
the.
on bond, though. Do you think she's actually going to be able to post bond?
I don't know. She's got some kind of connections, or he's gonna have to be the one to post bond for her, the husband, if he's got
I
some
mean,
kind of
do they
connections of
have do
some
they
sort.
have any real estate or anything to put up for the bond? I mean,
Not that I know of.
think about this. I
I don't
mean,
know whether or not he could give him
even a
more
million
because
dollar bond, even if the a bail bondsman only asks for 10%, that's still a lot of money up front.
and I have read somewhere where she I can't remember what they said she was doing to curl her hair while she was in prison. How many people show up looking like that? That's just that's crazy stuff.
Well, and look at that smirk on her damn face. Like, I don't know. Something is seriously wrong with her. I don't know. I just
I just
hope
don't know how long
that
they're really gonna be able to keep her in jail. How are they gonna keep her in jail when there's no proof of false play, there's no proof of death or anything? What are they gonna hold her for?
they're
Lying
getting
to the
her for.
cops about.
No, 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 no. They've got her for child abandonment. She can't produce her children, so she's abandoned them somewhere. And yeah, that's actually something that she can end up going to jail for a period of time. So yeah, they'll be able to hold her, you know, have a court case. She'll have to, if she can't post bond, she'll have to stay in jail until. Ooh, my daughter must have put some perfume on. Um, Strong. Um, and then if she's found guilty, I mean, she could get a couple of years. I mean, I don't know what the law is there, but I'm sure she could get at least a couple of years for that.
So okay, a couple years she
It
gets out. Then what? I mean,
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess the theory by the police is to press her with this and hope that they can find the kids. I mean, at least now she is going to have more of a difficult time to shuffle them around or hide them or whatever she's done with them if um well, if they're still alive, uh because she's not out roaming free, right? She's in jail. Of
Hmm.
course, then her husband is still out, but I don't know. I don't know what their she has to come up with 10%. That's what, right. I'm pretty sure at the very minimum you have to come up with 10%. But actually, if bail, I've seen it where if bail bondsmen think that you're a risk to either not show up or uh, something, they can ask for 30, 50% if they want. 50% of $1 million is, $500,000. That'd be an awful lot for her to come up with. Has she gotten a psych evaluation? She looks a little crazy. I don't know. I haven't seen anything that
They have
said that
this.
she's
He's part of some cult thing. He's part of some cult thing.
is
But
it's
with the end of the world,
well, yeah,
so
that's some
I don't
religious
know.
thing, right?
But I don't know. I
Well,
don't know. Unless
they
she's
were
hiding,
are
she
they
thinks that she's
preppers
protecting
too?
them.
Is
No, I don't know. No, they weren't preppers. I don't know what it was. His deal was. He ain't Christian, that's for sure. I don't know what all the craziness is going on over there. Let's get that straight right now. Okay, so she's thinking she is supposed to bring in the second coming. She's some kind of special person, some kind of
oh
special warrior kind of. Yeah,
some
she's
religious
all
cult? It's a
whacked out.
religious cult. So it's a religious cult then.
So whether
It
she
has to be.
maybe put them some protecting them, or that maybe they were a sacrifice. So let's get this straight. I've learned about a lot of the cults where they sacrifices and all kinds of crazy stuff going
Right.
on. So who
Right.
knows? Oh, we got to sacrifice these kids to bring in the second coming. All kinds of whacked out stuff people come up with and stuff. So I mean, that's possible too. And if that would explain the smirk on the face there, that she's just woo way out there. I don't know. You would think they'd be digging into his background and seeing what's going on with this guy. And then the people around him that are all dying off, just like the Clintons, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you got the wife that they exhumed her body, right? Whatever happened with that? I haven't heard. What did she die of, you know? I'm
I
serious.
don't
I
think
mean,
I don't
his
think
wife,
bringing politics into true crime is a good idea.
well,
I know what you
I
mean.
mean, they
I
were
know
married
what you
for
mean. But okay, so
30
do we know
years
how
and then
they
all of a sudden
do,
she just dies.
do we know how
They
these
exhumed her
two like
body.
met? How did they meet? Do you know how they met?
They had started talking online. Is all I know. That she had started getting interested in, I guess,
Whatever his cult thing
in
is.
his organization, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to call it a ministry, an organization. And then she eventually started talking to him, and then they started talking, and then they met and stuff. And then all of a sudden, her husband ended up getting killed, and then his wife, 30 years, conveniently just dies off and stuff, and they got married 2 weeks later, and boom, boom. I mean, it was the craziest thing. So they did exhume her body, though, the wife's body,
Right,
after
right. But
several years
and
that
it
they
says
figured
they
out.
haven't gotten the results of the autopsy yet, so that's still in
That's
question.
crazy after all this time.
How
I
do
mean,
you have so many weird coincidences? I guess that's what you'd have to call it. All these dead people, and your children now have disappeared, and you refuse to produce them for the court system so that they can see that, okay, they're fine, and everything's okay. I mean, seriously.
It's crazy, and there she has no friends, nobody in their circle of trust. Nobody in their circle that could say something about it and stuff. I mean, if he was in some kind of culty thing there, what about all the other anybody else? See, it couldn't be just the two of them. There had to be other people involved in this
Yeah, but
organization
if they think she's
that could say
the
something.
god or whatever the hell she thinks she is, why would they go against that? right? Like if they worship the ground she walks on, why would they? I mean,
That's true.
look at Manson. Look at how those people thought, he was God's gift, and they just did whatever he told him. I mean, it could be the same kind of thing with her. Maybe they don't think she's doing anything wrong because they're bought into this notion of whatever cultish religious
Maybe.
thing that they're doing.
I know she threatened to kill her husband if he stood in her way. So that's why he was leaving
Her
her.
current
He
husband?
left her because she
Oh, her last husband.
or what? No, not the last husband. And then all of a sudden the brother kills the husband by mistake, of course. And then all of a sudden the brother ends up dying. And then like,
Well, right. How
come
could you
on,
be that? How could you be
something's
that
not right
unlucky
here.
to have all that stuff, and then your kids disappear, right? And then your kids disappear.
There's too many coincidences.
I agree. It makes absolutely no sense. Could the federal government go after her for fraud, her collecting money for children she can't produce? Yes, they could. Yes, they could. Which is also probably the reason why they can make these charges for abandonment stick, because she is collecting government money. And so, yes, the feds could get involved. And if she's collected funds, that could actually bring in mail fraud too, I would think. If she was collecting funds in, were they Idaho, right? And then she went to, they were in Hawaii. If she collected any funds there, then that would be cross state lines, which would also allow the feds to get involved. I mean, they could really go after him, I guess, if they wanted to, if they could. I would think, because if you can't produce your kids, then you shouldn't be receiving any funds, because how do they know they're still alive? Right?
Right. Right.
Right. Right.
I don't know. That was an interesting question.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Okay. So I guess we'll be seeing more court things. What did it say? I swear I thought it said something in March, didn't it? March 18th. So I guess at the very least we'll hear something else then. So let's go on to let me pull up.
It's too bad I can't just give her one of those serums to make you tell the truth.
Right.
Something.
Okay. So now we have the stepmom of Gannon Stauch. I don't know. I've heard this name pronounced 50 million different ways. I'll just go with what comes and rolls off my tongue. Brian Clan says, yes, Eminem Mama, she can be charged like Lori. Well, oh my God, the Brian Clan, that was good. Okay. Hi, Lemon. So stepmom was arrested in Gannon Stauch's disappearance. She was fired from a teaching job days before the boy went missing. Letecia Stauch was going through orientation for a job at Mountain Ridge Middle School in Academy School District 20 when her employment offer was rescinded. She previously taught elementary school in the Widefield District. The El Paso County woman arrested on a murder charge related to the disappearance and presumed death of her 11-year-old stepson was fired from a middle school teaching job just days before the boy went missing. Mind you, they still haven't found him, right? Because I haven't seen anything where they have found him yet.
No.
Letecia Stauch, 36, was going through orientation for a job at Mountain Ridge Middle School in Academy District 20 when her conditional employment offer was rescinded, the Colorado Sun has learned. Academy District 20 rescinded her employment offer after finding inconsistencies in her employment application, district spokeswoman Allison Cortez said. Cortez did not elaborate on those inconsistencies. She said Stauch had access to children and that the district is in the process of notifying Mountain Ridge Middle School students and families. Stauch previously worked for Widefield School District in southern El Paso County, Districtwoman Samantha Briggs said. Stauch, who received her Colorado teaching license in March of 2019, was a substitute teacher in the district during the spring semester of 2019. She was then hired at French Elementary, where she taught from August until November when she resigned. Briggs and Widefield School District has notified parents of Stauch's employment with them. I guess that's what that's supposed to say. It says employment with their, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Stauch was participating in 3 days of orientation at Mountain Ridge Middle School in the Briargate neighborhood of Colorado Springs when she was fired on January 24th, just 3 days before Gannon Stauch, 11, went missing. Stauch worked at the district from just from January 22nd to the 24th. A spokeswoman for the El Paso County Sheriff's Office declined to comment. Cortez confirmed that the woman who was going through orientation at Mountain Ridge Middle School is the same person who was arrested in Gannon Stauch's disappearance. The pending charges have no connection to Academy District 20 students or staff members, said a memo the district sent to parents of Mountain Ridge Middle School students Thursday evening. When any employee is hired in Academy District 20, we conduct a full background check, including a Colorado Bureau of Investigation review, which revealed Mrs. Stauch was eligible for hire. Additional due diligence and reference checks revealed inconsistent information. Stauch was arrested Monday in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, on a warrant for charges including first-degree murder of a child. Stauch, who did not fight extradition, arrived at the El Paso County Jail in Colorado Springs Thursday morning, the El Paso County Sheriff's Office said. The boy remains missing. The document laying out the reasons for Letecia Stauch's arrest was sealed, and investigators and prosecutors have declined to discuss details. It was not known if she has a lawyer representing her yet. She also faces charges including child abuse resulting in death, tampering with a deceased human body, and tampering with physical evidence. The sheriff's office previously said Letecia Stauch reported Gannon missing on January 27th, saying he left to go to a friend's house in the afternoon. Authorities initially called him a runaway, but 3 days later said he was considered missing and endangered due to his age, the amount of time he had been gone, and his dependence on medication. Okay, so that was from the 5th. So I have another article before we start discussing this, because this is a whole nother story in and of itself. She slips her handcuffs and attacks deputy, according to this report. A Colorado Springs woman accused of murder in the disappearance of her 11-year-old stepson, Gannon Stauch, has made a brief appearance before a judge Thursday, shortly after being booked into the El Paso County Jail in Colorado Springs. Letecia Stauch, 36, was arrested Monday in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, on a warrant for first-degree murder, child abuse resulting in death, tampering with a body, and evidence tampering. She waived her right to fight extradition and arrived in Colorado on Thursday after spending the night in a Kansas jail. KKTV reported the stop in Kansas came after Stauch slipped out of her handcuffs in a sheriff's transport van and attacked a deputy. On Thursday afternoon, Letecia Stauch appeared before an El Paso County judge via video from the jail where she is held without bond. One of her attorneys, Catherine Strobel, waived a reading of possible charges against her. Letecia Stauch was scheduled to appear in person Wednesday in 4th Judicial District Court, at which time she is expected to be formally charged. During the brief hearing, the screen for her video advisement was turned away from the gallery. She spoke only to confirm her identity. Gannon's parents, Landon Hyatt and Albert Stauch, sat in the front row surrounded by victims' advocates and several family members. They showed no emotion to hearing Stauch's voice on the video and were escorted out by sheriff deputies. Stauch was appointed two public defenders, Strobel and Kim Chalmers. Chalmers is a senior trial attorney who in 2018 served on the defense team for double murderer Glenn Law Galloway at a death penalty trial. I know this is an extremely difficult situation, to say the least, El Paso County Judge Denise Peacock said in addressing the courtroom. It carries high emotion. Stauch faces life in prison if convicted of the murder of her stepson. Thursday, an Academy School District 20 notification sent to Mountain Ridge Middle School parents called Stauch a teacher applicant and said that she participated in 3 days of orientation before the district rescinded its conditional offer of employment. The school district said the revoked offer was due to inconsistent information found during a background check. Gannon was last seen January 27th when Stauch reported to authorities that he went missing while walking to a friend's house. Multiple law agencies have been searching for the boy for 5 weeks, most recently near Colorado 105 and Colorado 83. Gannon's remains haven't been found, but investigators said Monday they no longer believe he is alive. So how's that for icing on the cake? Hiya, Bella Mac.
I heard this morning that.
Yes.
I heard this morning that he's filing for divorce.
Yes. I saw that too.
Alice.
So she's really walking down a very lonely road, I think.
What a mess.
I know.
What a mess.
Okay, so when I heard that she had slipped her handcuffs in the van, I don't know what she thought she was going to do. However,
I don't know.
Why would you want to I mean, you're already on the hook at this point for murder. Now, you want people to presume that you're innocent. And so you go and do something stupid like slipping your handcuffs. And now you have a very valid charge of they can get her for, attempted escape. They can get her for assault on a police officer. I mean, come on. I mean, why would you do that? Because now, even if she beats the rap for murder, they find out she didn't do it, now she's got these other charges that are going to put her in jail for some time. Why would you do that? It makes no sense.
Shot herself in the foot. I don't know. If it was an accident, she should just come clean right in the beginning, and because it just one lie after another lie, she just compounded it, and it just gets worse and worse. If this was an accident, which I still in the back of my mind could think that not an accident as in the sense that you and I would have an accident.
Right.
Accident in the sense that she has a bad temper, and she lost it, and just took her full fury out on the boy, and then the next day he might have had internal bleeding, and then he ended up dying, maybe in the back of the truck, is all I can think. Because the lady said at the Petco that she kept looking out car out at the truck while she was over at Petco. But then if you have a boy that's in bad shop in a Petco, and why that one all the way out there in your Garden of the Gods, which I don't think that he's in Garden of the Gods, because I've been to Garden of the Gods, and it's a bunch of rocks, and they would have found him by now, if he's in one
Right.
piece. So, and I think he just maybe ended up expiring in the truck, maybe the next day. Uh, and then what she did with the body after that, tampering with the body.
Well, don't you think she certainly had to tell police for her to have this murder charge this quick without having him, having found him, that um, she definitely had to indicate that he was not alive to them, you would think. Unless they found something that indicated that somebody could not have survived um, injuries that they found.
There's
Uh-oh.
reports of
The
the
Bryan
bloody
clan had
board.
margarita night. Shame on you, the Bryan clan. I love
Oh.
margaritas. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
There's reports that the father found bloody board and a bloody sock.
Right.
Um, but it wasn't at the house though. It was at the side of the road. So it's like how did it get there? And the blood matched the boy. And then apparently they found a pint-sized amount of blood in the boy's room too. I guess they used like black lights or whatever kind of stuff, forensic lights to find this blood. It
Right.
obviously wasn't
Right.
just visible. And
Right.
that
Right.
that
They probably used that luminol stuff, and I would think, yeah, and the
she's
black
saying
light.
she's saying, oh well, he has bloody noses and stuff. Okay, my daughter used to have bloody noses too. I mean, there was one morning I
Right.
went into her room and I guess she had taken the blood in the middle of the night and smeared it all over the wall. I mean, it looked like a crime scene in there. Seriously, I walked in and like, oh my gosh, what? It's ridiculous. Okay, I've seen some gross stuff with these kids. I've had these children. I tell you the gross stuff I've seen, but I mean, I don't know. This is just I don't know. I just think that she maybe went a little overboard with her rage, and he expired the next day, perhaps, or maybe she gave too much medicine for the pain, and he didn't look like he was in good shape when he was getting in that truck from that video. So she kept staring out at the car, and the gal's like, she looked like she was concerned. She kept staring out at the parking lot and stuff. And we don't even know if there was some other kind of person involved that could have taken the body. We don't know. I don't know. We
Right.
still don't know. That maybe
Well,
she called somebody else and they went and took the body and disposed of it.
I have to say,
We'll
I'm
see.
surprised. I'm surprised that they have not recovered him yet, because I was under the impression that, so there's kind of two options when they charged her, right? So she had either talked to them and basically confessed, or said that he died, whether or not she said that she did it or not, right? Or or uh, they found enough evidence to know that somebody sustained injuries, which would have, I would guess, would have been assumed to be him, uh, as such that they could not have survived them, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
kind of really only have one of those two things that caused them to because they're not going to charge her with first degree murder if they don't think they're going to be able to prosecute and win the case, right? Because they are only going to get one shot at this.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they have to have enough evidence to get the indictment in the first place, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I was really
Well,
surprised that I figured it'd be, like, I figured she confessed. I figured the most likely scenario is that she confessed, and I figured they'd have him within 24 hours. So I don't know if maybe she doesn't, like, didn't tell them exactly where she put him, or maybe it's not, like you had said before, maybe his body is not in an easily recoverable position.
I don't think that he should confess. I'm thinking that per that video, the little girl was home. A, and B, per her interview with the reporter where she's not even looking at the camera, and she calls her daughter over and stuff. Her daughter was home Sunday night. Also, the night in question, the night that you could hear that they were announcing Kobe Bryant had died because it's on the TV, and she goes
Right.
downstairs and she's talking to him again, and so they were both home. And if your mother did something like that, okay, and your mother was the kind of mother that this chick is and stuff, the older daughter's probably a little scared of her, and she's not going to come clean. Maybe
Well,
now she
or
did something.
if you know that she did something to him violent, like I would be. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, you
yeah.
watch a lot of these
I'm
crime
just
shows
saying,
where you have siblings in an abusive situation, right? And even if one of them is abused and the other one isn't, the other one is always afraid, well, maybe it's going to happen to me, so they're not going to, you know, do anything about it. So I need to say hi to the Black Sheep and Harper Lee. And I guess that Bella Mack and the Bryan clan knows something that I don't know. I'm not sure because they seem to have a little joke going on here. I don't know. I don't know who Richard Ramirez is, but uh
Yeah, I'm thinking the daughter, one of the daughters, is starting to speak. And for I've seen the videos of her daughter. She just seems like a lovely, beautiful girl. She's just
right.
beautiful, and she seems to be a Christian. Whether I don't know if she is totally for sure. Her videos, she's got Christian music playing.
Right.
She seems real square, and it looks like she wasn't doing without. I mean, she shows her room and everything. Then she shows she's going to college. She's got, but uh, it's possible that she finally decided to say something. They were able to get her to talk stuff because they were both home. They were both home, so they know what happened and stuff. And the fact that she says that they threw her out, whether she left or he threw her out. The fact that he right away suspected her leads me to believe that this is the first time that she's lost her temper, and that he knew that she was kind of a little off,
Right.
and
Right.
they right away he turned on her right away, because if you loved your wife and
Are
stuff,
you
and I
both
know it's your
fixing to
kid
ask me
and
something?
everything, but you wouldn't right away accuse her of doing something. So,
The
I mean,
live?
something happens to
You're
my
in there
kid, my
listening to
husband's not
me
going to right away
live
think I
while
did
you're
something.
listening to me live? I'm sorry. My husband came in here to tell me he's listening to me in the other room while he's listening to me too. Oh
Well,
my
your
God. Okay,
husband?
I am sorry. My husband has the live going in the other room. He's like, he just came by here to tell me he's listening to me, and I'm like, well, I'm sure you hear me in there. And he's like, no, I have it on, and I was like, oh, okay. I don't know why he had to tell me that. And Bella Mac, I'm doing pretty good. She asked me that before. Let's see. I'm going to catch up on this real quick while I interrupted you. I didn't mean to. I hope they had a body cam. That would be good. I think she was stooping places to collate alibis. Uh, yeah, she
Yeah, that's
probably
another main
was.
thing I was thinking.
Right. Knowing that she'd
That
be
she went
filmed
shopping.
or right, right. She was
But
probably
it shows
checking the
her getting
car
in
to see
touch
if
with the
anyone was
boy, though.
looking in the car, not because she was worried for Gannon. Right. Right. Or if somebody had approached him to ask him if he needed help or something. I wondered that too.
Right.
Because if he had internal injuries, I mean a kid that age is going to be, you know, in some serious pain, and they're going to show it. It's going to be apparently obvious that they're at least uncomfortable, at the very least in pain. Um and I would think she'd be worried about somebody seeing him, like, you know, maybe he was leaning up against the window and, you know, didn't look good. Somebody would come to check on him because he's a young boy in the car by himself. I mean, you know, you look what these people do with when they see dogs in the car. You know, I can imagine somebody would approach a child. So I would think that she would be concerned about that if she had to run into the store. Why she ran into the store, I have no idea.
Yeah, no, I don't think she was concerned about the kid at all. She was worried about her own self. Because her
Right.
coworker, oh, yeah, here's this little tidbit. She used to work
at the restaurant where Chris Watts, and I know I keep going back to Chris Watts, but Chris Watts and Shanann
Oh, your
had
clock's going off.
dinner.
You have music
I
in the
know.
background.
Chris Watts and Shanann Watts. I can't remember the name of the restaurant. It's over in South Carolina because that's where she was. She was originally from there, and then that's where they picked her up. But 4 years prior to Chris Watts eating there, though, I mean, she used to work there at that same restaurant that Shanann Watts and Chris Watts had dinner whenever he came down that last week that she was on vacation before they came back home, and then he killed her or
Isn't that
whatever
a
happened
crazy
to her.
coincidence? There is some
It is
crazy
very
things that
crazy.
ties these people together. That's really
Very
weird.
crazy.
How did you
And her
figure that out?
coworker,
Somebody pointed that out to
her
you?
coworker said she was very self-absorbed. Very self-absorbed. So
Sorry. Her coworker,
I don't know.
in
Her
as in
coworker.
her
Boswell
coworker from one of the schools or from that place in South Carolina?
in South Carolina. She
Oh,
said she was very self-absorbed. Um, stuff. So
I could see that. I don't know. This whole thing has me very puzzled as to why they don't have him. But they obviously had enough. They had enough to charge her, and then she slip in the cuffs. Dear Lord, really? What in the hell she was thinking with that? Because if you beat the other charges, that would be crazy. WhiteTiger, the person's picture on screen looks like serial killer Richard Ramirez. Oh, I don't know what he looks like. I'm gonna have to hang on. I'll look. I'll look it. I'll look it up.
oh right. Yeah, I've heard that before. People are saying she looks like Richard Ramirez. I looked him up because I couldn't remember
Let me see.
who he was. Serial killer, yeah.
Um, yeah, I'd say so. Hang on. I will. I can. Like that?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about him.
I don't know, but they sure look like they got the
Yeah.
same kind of look, don't they? In their face.
Here's another similarity: is she's got Native American. She's got Native American, and so does Chris Watts.
Oh, you gotta quit talking about Chris Watts. You
The Chris
crazy.
Watts thing. I know. Well, I know I am.
I
But
don't think she's
they do.
confessed. I think
There's still.
evidence and her consistent contradictory lies and all the behavior is all I need.
Oh, she's not going to confess.
That's not enough. Actually, that's not even enough to get. Mandy Hall says the dead look. Hi, Mandy Hall. Yeah, I agree. That look, like
Right.
they really do have the same look on their face if you look at them.
Evil.
Yeah, which is probably less about her losing her temper and having a bad reaction one time as opposed to um, other issues. I was talking to you yesterday and said, is there a possibility that thinking about it, because I heard or read somebody mention this, and I mean, anything is possible at this point because we don't know what happened. Um, she knew she was having problems in her marriage, right? And
Mm-hmm.
she had been asked to go back to work, so she goes looking for a job, and she thinks she finds this job, and then they tell her, I'm sorry, you don't have this job, and then he burns the carpet, and then she's thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I can't, lose my husband, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, I'm not going to say that I think it was a planned thing. I think that circumstances probably just, she was being selfish and worried about herself and whatever it was that she wanted, whether it be that her marriage stayed in place, whatever. This was either a way out or a distraction or I don't know, something. I just don't understand why people keep killing these kids, though. I'm so really sick to death of all these people thinking that it's completely okay to kill these kids. She's a liar and a child killer, in my opinion, says Mandy Hall. I completely agree.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to have very good evidence that they've already charged her with first-degree murder, and they haven't recovered a body yet. So, I mean, they seriously have to have something, and it can't just be, oh, well, she's been lying to us, or, I mean, like, there's no way that they're going to risk losing the ability to win a prosecution against her. Because if she gets acquitted, like, they can't retry her. So they have to have something substantial to be wanting to arrest her now and push it into the court system.
Right. You know me, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. But she kind of showed her true colors when she tried to do that to that guard and stuff.
Right.
Cause...
Well, right. And what are you thinking? Like, okay, I'm bored on this car ride, so let me slip my cuffs and, whatever she did, smack the guy, or I don't know. What did she think she was going to accomplish? I mean, there's two armed cops there. Where did she think she was going to go?
I don't know. I know it's gonna be a good Lifetime movie. Because it's just like it sounds like a Lifetime movie. It's crazy.
Well, it probably will be a movie at some point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's just sudden.
All right, so now we're going to move on to the next thing, because I just, this one frustrates me to no end, and I really hope that they find his poor body soon. The next one, unfortunately, was another very sad situation. And if I can get this to move, and this poor baby. Authorities believe they found 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell's remains. This is from this morning, this article. Authorities believe they found the remains of 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell, who was reported missing a little more than 2 weeks ago. Evelyn was last seen in December, and police initially said last month they were investigating why it took so long to report the toddler missing. On Friday, Sullivan County Sheriff Jeff Cassidy said detectives received a tip that led to a property belonging to a family member of Evelyn's mother. Police will confirm Evelyn's identity after an autopsy is conducted, Cassidy said. The investigation is still active and in its early stages, officials said. The discovery follows 2 weeks of efforts from local, state, and federal authorities to locate the child, navigating through interviews with a mother who police said changed her story each time she spoke to them. The mother was arrested for giving false reports. Megan Boswell, 18, Evelyn's mother, was arrested in February and charged with 1 count of false reports, Cassidy said last month. During the investigation, we determined that some of the statements Megan Boswell provided to us were false, the sheriff said. Many of the false statements that Megan made delayed our investigation and also impeded our investigation on trying to find Evelyn. The sheriff said the mother's story would change every time she spoke to police. Boswell, who did not return CNN's previous request for comment, told CNN affiliate WJHL in a Facebook message that she was pregnant and unable to take a polygraph test, but the sheriff's office said it didn't use polygraph tests. And the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations told CNN she wasn't scheduled to meet with a polygraph examiner from the Bureau either. Jail records released by the sheriff's office last month indicated Boswell was not pregnant, WJHL reported. Boswell has sole custody over the child, and Evelyn's father is an active-duty military serviceman stationed in Louisiana, officials have said. The grandmother was arrested. Days after an Amber Alert was issued for the baby, Evelyn's grandmother was arrested alongside her boyfriend, and after police said they had information about the disappearance. Angela Boswell, 42, and William McLeod, 33, were found traveling in a gray 2007 BMW in Wilkes County, North Carolina. The two were charged with possession of stolen property, according to the Wilkes County Sheriff's Office, and were extradited to Tennessee. On Wednesday, Angela Boswell appeared in court for property theft charge, where she told the judge she was having difficulty finding an attorney because of the stigma surrounding the case. The judge reset the case to March 24th. She was reported missing months after she was last seen. The TBI said it received at least 890 tips in connection to the case, but authorities eventually determined there had been no credible sightings, a spokesman with the sheriff's office said. The young child was last reported seen December 26th. She had blonde hair, blue eyes, and was wearing a pink tracksuit, pink shoes, and a pink bow when she went missing. We're conducting the investigation, and obviously we've been talking to as many people as we've come in contact with that knew about the child. Sullivan County Sheriff's Office spokesman Captain Andy Seabolt had told CNN affiliate WCYB at the beginning of the search. We want to know why the child was not reported missing earlier. As days went by, the reward for finding the child topped $71,000. We pray every day she is found in good health and can be brought back and taken care of, her great-grandfather David Jones told WCYB. It's just been a stress on us all. Well, obviously we know what the result of that was. So they think they have found her. Which is highly disappointing.
It's the great-grandfather.
Huh?
Not her grandfather. It's her great-grandfather, then. So it's actually Megan's grandfather.
Right.
You said great-grandfather, right? The article says?
That's what the article says, yes.
Wow.
Huh? Well, give them one. Right there, because I'm out over here. You have to get one off the shelf. Sorry.
I don't even know what happened with this child. I think this child was passed around person to person, and I don't know what they did with her. I just hope that we're not going to hear about any kind of other stuff that happened to her.
Right.
Plus, it's been a couple of months that she's been gone, so I don't know. That really, I mean, if the body's decomposed bad enough that you probably can't really run any kind of test to see if she was even sexually assaulted or what have you, you know. Not at this point.
Right.
I don't know how long it takes for a body to decompose, but I know it happens pretty quick. It's out in the elements.
I don't understand why it took so long. Okay, before I go into that, hi someone. Someone said, that's their name, someone. If they could arrest her on giving false reports, then why can't they arrest Chad Daybell for doing the same? Well, I mean, I guess they could, other than there could be different laws in that state. I don't know. Mandy Hall says at Balamak, I agree. They must have a lot more than we know. Bellomac said, I believe they will have way more evidence than they have shared with the public in order to make those charges without her confession or finding Gannon. Okay. Now, as far as Evelyn goes, I don't understand why it would take so long to report a child of this age missing. Like, I don't understand what purpose that would serve other than the fact that you've done something and you don't want people to find out. And then what? You said the only reason why she was reported missing was because the grandparents said something?
Yeah. Motherly reporter missing. Oh, yeah, by the way, she's been missing since the end of December.
Yeah. I remember when my daughter was little, we were in the store, and, I was always really good about keeping track of my kids in the store because, I was always afraid that, that would be where somebody would snatch them up. And my daughter ended up, I was looking at some clothes for her on a rack, one of those circular racks. And she was there with me, and then I looked down and she was gone. Well, she was inside the rack, but I didn't know. And I'm looking all over for her, and I'm yelling. All of a sudden she pops out of there, and she's like, laughing and ha ha ha. But man, I was flipping out, and that was only, half a minute. Much less, months. How in the world does your kid go missing for months and you're not frantically trying to figure out what in the hell happened to him? And I'm sorry if you're going to say, oh, well, I left, my mom was babysitting or my dad was babysitting or what, something like that. You still, are you going to really go that long without talking to your child? Seriously? No way. I don't even go that long without talking to my dogs.
Yeah.
I did not go 3 months without talking to Troy. No. Yeah, I didn't get to verbally talk to him, but that was because he was in boot camp. I knew exactly where he was, though, and I knew he wasn't going anywhere. Yeah, this is just terribly sad. I do hope that that they get the autopsy done and they prosecute everybody that was involved. And the fact that they found her on family property just, I think, kind of adds to the disgust in my mind. Obviously, something happened.
Yeah.
Something accidental, something on purpose. Either way, they were trying to cover up something. And instead of reporting her, they just let time go by.
They just discarded her like she was trash. She wasn't. Look how beautiful she is. Ugh.
I know, it's terrible. It's terrible. And they're so adorable at that age. Like, even my hellacious child at that age was so adorable. When she did something wrong, it was very hard to be mad at her because, she'd sit there and give you a look or say something. Or,
start saying no. No.
Right.
When they start learning how to say no. Oh. You just want to say her no. It's even their nose cute, but it's like,
right.
Yeah, I used to tell my daughter, even when you were a baby, even your baby breath was so cute to me. She's like, ew, and I'm like, everything, She's just, I don't know. She could look at that beautiful girl and I just don't understand it. If that love for that child and mother isn't there, we're all a society. It's just sad.
It's
sad.
really
And if
sad.
it wasn't for the fact that I know that little girl is in heaven with Jesus, I would actually go insane hearing about all these stories.
I know.
Really, truly.
I know.
He is so depressing.
I agree. It really is. Okay, so there probably won't be anything on that then until the autopsy comes out and they start charging people. But now we have the last thing that we're going to talk about today is we started listening to a case that's currently being tried in court. And unfortunately, it's another very sad case. Seems to be a lot of these here lately. So this is from less than 24 hours ago, this article. So this person's name is Kelsey Thomas, and she is in court being tried for killing her daughter. I actually, I should have pulled up a picture of her daughter. I'll have to pull it up after I go through this. Ottumwa jurors viewed videos of investigators on Friday questioning Kelsey Thomas for the murder of her daughter, Chloe Chandler. Thomas directly denying killing her during the interviews. Don Schittaker, a special agent for the Division of Criminal Investigation of Iowa, testified about what happened when he and other law enforcement officers questioned Thomas. The interviews were recorded on video. Ruben Neff, a Wapello County attorney, played clips of Schittaker and those officers interviewing Thomas inside the Ottumwa Police Department. Thomas and her husband Aaron were questioned separately. Schnicker, and the goal of questioning was to allow Thomas to recount the day of her daughter's death. Separate interviews allowed Schnicker and the officers to see if there were any inconsistencies with Thomas's account. We wanted to recall the events of the day and background of Chloe and the day and get to know what was going on that week, that day, and hear her story. Schnicker said, "It was classified as a cognitive style of interviewing. What that means is we're really asking the person to recall events." In the first clip, Schnicker said they asked Thomas to explain how she found Chloe in the closet. Thomas said she found pajama pants strangling her neck. She said her daughter wanted to make a swing in the closet. What are you doing? Either do it or go. Sorry. I don't know what my husband's trying to do. Thomas said she found pajama pants strangling her neck. She said her daughter wanted to make swing in the closet with those pants, but ended up choking to death and strangling herself instead. The day Chloe died, Thomas said she left her daughter alone for a while so she could do some grocery shopping. Thomas said she wanted to leave because she was so frustrated with her daughter. She was misbehaving, acting out. I didn't know why, she said in one of the video clips. Thomas came back and made lunch for Chloe. Thomas said she took a 2-hour nap before work. She found her daughter dead after she woke up. Schnicker and law enforcement didn't believe Thomas when she said she didn't kill her daughter. Thomas changed her account during the interviews. Sometimes she said everything was fine with her daughter, and at other times she said she was frustrated. Schnicker and the officers didn't trust that. I loved my daughter. I didn't do anything to her, Thomas said in one of the clips. I would have never done anything to her. I wouldn't have thought of doing anything to her. I never hit or choked my daughter. Nothing. I'm telling you the truth. I did not kill her. The trial is set to continue next week. Thomas faces a mandatory life sentence if she's convicted of first-degree murder. Okay, so the first story that she gave was that she found her daughter in the closet hanging by her pajama pants. And bye, Bellamac. Thank you for joining us. The second story that came out through, I think they said there was 14 hours of interrogation at the police department where her story kept changing around. And so the first story was that about the pajama pants. And then eventually she says, it comes out that she left her home alone and told her to stay in her room, and until she got back from the store. And the reason why she didn't want to take her to the store was because she had been acting out in public a lot, and she had problems, I guess, keeping control of her in the store. So she left her at home alone, put her in her room and closed the door to her room and told her to stay in her room till she got back. Well, when she got home, she found her watching TV in the living room, or what was basically the living room, and lost it at that point. Now, I did not listen yet to the testimonies from yesterday. I did listen up through Thursday. Now, so that was the medical examiner going through stuff on the coroner's report and the autopsy. And there was some other evidence people that they had on the stand in the previous days. So far, what I gather from the information that the prosecution has presented is that they investigated both theories. They investigated the hanging pajama theory, and because the medical examiner said that they found vomit on her bed, which is where she was when the paramedics got there. And the paramedics worked on her to try to revive her, even though they knew it was a lost cause because she was so cold. But because it was a child, they're always going to try. But there was vomit on some of the bedding, and they didn't find any vomit in the closet or on the supposed pajama pants. So it leads you to believe that story certainly, evidentially wise, couldn't be true. I am interested to see how the rest of the prosecution case lays out, but let's see. Someone said, "Who leaves a 4-year-old at home? Her story fell apart right there." Exactly. There is no reason to leave a 4-year-old at home, because it seemed like I saw somewhere that she would leave her at. Somebody was babysitting that child often when she would go out because she was having problems. I think it was one of the grandparents. I mean, this case is still kind of new for me. I just found it. What was it, Tuesday? It's Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know. So I kind of started in a little late, but it was another mother killing her child, and this one very young. I mean, at 4 years old, yes, they can throw tantrums, and yes, they can make messes, and they don't really do anything to warrant losing your mind enough to kill them. I don't understand it. So we'll have to see how this one plays out in court. But at this point, the evidence just from talking to the paramedics and the medical examiner, I don't see that first story could be true. Not at all. What was your take on? Was you listened to it through Thursday too, didn't you, Maria? Hello.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's cutting
okay.
out a lot, so I'm having trouble. I'm hearing every other word, but so there's no evidence besides her story that she was in the closet and all this stuff. This is all stuff that she made up. There really isn't any kind of nobody saw her in the closet. Nobody saw her hanging from in the closet.
Right.
Nobody saw her. This is all stuff she made up. A 5-year-old she's got some weight to her, you know. It doesn't. From what I read, that there's no way that a pajama pants could hold a child hanging, a 5-year-old from a closet, you know. Maybe a 1-year-old, but not a 5-year-old. I don't know how much she
Right.
weighed, but
Someone brought up a point. that I do recall that the grandmother said on the witness stand, I quote, I told Kelsey if she spent more time with Chloe, maybe she would stop acting like a brat. Right. And evidently a year prior, the grandmother testified that Kelsey asked her to take Chloe from her. And she said, no, you would miss her too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sounds like she thought she was a troublemaker and thorn in the side.
Well,
Maybe. I don't think she strangled
well,
herself.
the uh, who was it? Who was it that was on the stand? I can't think of who it was. That I think said that one of the things that she said was about this whole shopping trip thing, because she had to take her dad to get medicine or something like that. Someone I agree. It does seem like that there are some serious issues in this family, which was like one of the first things I said to you, wasn't it? Like something is not right. A grandmother was on the stand, and I thought, okay, if I was a grandmother and my child came to me and said, hey, I cannot control my daughter. I don't know what to do. I'm losing my mind. Can you help me? You'd think the thing that you would do is, maybe you would say, okay, no, I'm not going to take the child from you. But what I will do, you guys come stay with me and I will help you. And we will, try to redirect this behavior or something. The cousin, there is a cousin that seems normal. Yeah, I think it was. I think that could be. And then when they were playing the some of the interrogation clips in the court, I couldn't understand a thing that was being said. Their audio was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But you said the same thing too, right? The audio, you had issues hearing the audio with the interrogation.
Cutting out so much on my end.
You're not hearing me?
Oh. I hear you, but it's every other word. So I'm deciphering. I don't know why it does that, but
I don't either. You're the only person that tells me they have that problem.
I know it. So it has to. It was fine before we went live, so it has something to do with the StreamYard, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. So
I think
your
we're gonna find
sound
out about
has been
this
breaking
girl.
up a little bit, so I don't know. I have no idea what it is, but yeah, let me look and see. I wanted to see if I could see if I could find a picture of the the child, because I had a hard time finding a picture of the child, because evidently there's a lot of people with that name.
Yeah, I have not seen the little girl yet.
I don't know if they're keeping it out of
I wish the grandmother just took her.
right. I
This girl's 24, correct? She's 24. She's not 18. She's 24. She's come on, 24. You know, poor Harry had 3 kids. Take care of all of them.
yeah.
I just.
I just wish that if you're to the point that you can't I mean, it is sad that her mom was not willing to help her. Yeah, I don't see any pictures of her daughter anywhere. Isn't that weird? I mean, usually there's pictures. Um
Maybe they're keeping it off the media. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't seen any pictures of the little girl at all. You know, take her to a church and say, "Here, I don't want to take care of her. You guys do something."
Right,
They'll take her to a, foster care place, something. What the
right.
heck? You know,
I know.
unless she
I
was a
don't.
hinder, it sounded like she was a hindrance from what I could hear in her interview with the cops, her interrogation, that she caused trouble and stuff. So I just left her at home uh, and stuff. She was always causing trouble, and
Okay, I found a picture.
she's a 5-year-old. Sure.
I found a picture. It's from the obituary. Um,
That's her.
that's her. Chloe Marie Chandler, 5 of Ottumwa, died July 19th, 2018, at Ottumwa Regional Health Center. She was born November 11th, 2012, in Marshalltown, Iowa. Chloe had graduated in May 2018 from preschool at Agassiz. She loved riding her bike, sticker books, sunflowers, and everything purple. Surviving are her parents Kelsey Aaron Thomas and Stephen Chandler, a young brother, Phoenix Thomas, grandparents. It goes on and on. Evidently, she was cremated, it looks like, according to this.
Poor little thing.
It's very sad. Let me see if I can make this picture bigger. Let's see. Very sad. Just, I don't understand. I really don't.
I know.
Oh, what happened to the... There we go.
I heard her saying that I love my daughter, I would never hurt her, and blah, blah, blah,
Right.
blah, blah. But, I don't know.
Well,
She
and
couldn't.
then, when the medical examiner was testifying, and she's talking about the things that you typically find in a hanging versus, like, a strangulation or asphyxiation, that kind of stuff. Also led me to think that she wasn't hung, I don't know. That jury's going to have a very, very difficult time hearing this case. But
Beautiful little
hopefully,
girl.
yep, hopefully
They're all
justice will
beautiful.
prevail.
Just sad.
I know none of these kids that these terrible things happen to, do we go, oh my gosh, that was a terrible looking child? I mean, they're all just absolutely precious and
Yeah,
adorable,
right. I mean,
and
just
like you just want to scoop them up and hug them.
like I
Someone
was
said,
telling you
I
earlier
don't.
this morning.
Go ahead.
Oh, this girl's 24. The other one's 18. Oh, come on now. People used to have children younger ages and stuff. Enough. I say, I was falling in that category too, thinking, well, they're just children. Not really. 24. Now when I look at my two nieces that've had 3, 4 kids at the age of 24 already, they already had
Well, I
three,
think
four
she's
underneath
18. I,
and
I
stuff.
think I think Kelsey is 18.
This
I
one
think
here.
the person on
This one here.
trial, is she 18?
Oh, really? I thought she was. Well, I heard she was 24.
I thought I
One of
saw
them's
she was
24.
18.
Megan's 18.
Oh.
I,
Oh.
Even at 18. I mean, your son is in the middle. 18. Come on.
I,
You know,
I know. I know.
it's
I
getting
know.
crazy. It's
I mean, like
selfishness. It's
my
selfishness.
my
It's
grandmother was like married at 14, and I mean, it's just that people were having families much younger back in the day. We just tend to think, oh, we're waiting till we're more mature, which is certainly viable to think that we're more mature the older we are, but yeah, this is, and then I think to myself, what are we doing? What are we doing to try to prevent these things from happening? I mean, the only thing the police can do is wait till something happens. I mean, we see this all the time, people being harassed and even stalked. A lot of times they're like, well, we can't do anything until they actually do something. They're getting better about some things, but across the board and across the country, it's not, it still needs to be better. I mean, and then the people who Child and Family Services get involved with and really kind of go after are not the people they should be watching, and then people that they should be finding out that there's something terribly wrong with are not.
right.
Someone says it would be better to sell them to people wanting to adopt. Not that I agree with selling children, but if that's what it takes to get these evil parents to relinquish custody, then go for it. Call it a gift exchange. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Mrs. Roger Rabbit, I made a Saturday morning live. Yeah, only because it's almost your time to wake up. The Bryan Clan, our kids are becoming an endangered species. That is a very true and sad fact. Bryan Clan, people are starting to look at kids as problems. The kids are not choosing to be brought into this world. We're bringing them into this world, and we know exactly what causes them to come into this world. And at what point do we start holding ourselves accountable for the fact that we brought them here? They didn't choose to be here. Mandy Hall says, all these monsters think they will have a better life without their children. They're selfish and evil. Look where they end up, in prison for life. They haven't got the brains they were born with. True. Very true. They are selfish. And I keep saying that that's actually the root of probably, 99% of our problems in this world today is everybody has gotten so selfish. It's me, me, me. And, when you look at things like marriages and friendships and parenthood, all of those things require self-sacrifice. Every one of them requires self-sacrifice. And religion requires self-sacrifice. You have to learn that everything isn't about you. And these kids should be the most important thing in your life. It's like my son. My son's getting to be more expensive now that he's in the military than when he was living at home. But you know what? I want to encourage him, and I want to make sure that he stays, mentally sound, and that he's staying on his path, and that he's, has the things that he needs. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to do that. That's the way every parent should be. And unfortunately, they're disposing of their families, because it's not just the kids they're disposing of. They're disposing of spouses too in the same way. They're just like disposing of them like they do trash.
Yeah, because the value of life is gone. There's no value for life anymore. This is just as bad of an abortion as having the abortion when the baby is still in the womb, right? I mean, this is another form of abortion, right? It's abortion either way, right? You're killing them when they're a little speck in your stomach, or you're killing them. Oh, or you're killing them whenever they're. Oh, great! My cat just ate my headphones. Or you're killing them when they're. Yeah,
Why did your cat eat
she's
your
something else. She's
headphones?
just like a dog.
Someone
She's just
says,
like a
what
dog.
triggers me
Yeah.
right now, my
Um,
two kids, 28 and 18, think I'm intrusive because I call to check on them every few weeks. No, they're going to think that, but that's okay. You should be doing that. If you don't want children, then tape your legs shut, Mandy Hall says. I completely agree. I don't know that tape is strong enough, though.
well,
Mrs. Roger Rabbit says,
yeah.
my daughter is in her 30s and I still put her needs before my wants. I mean, okay, so everybody knows, well, everybody that's been around or knows me from other channels, I did get a new vehicle. It's not really new. It's brand new to me, but it's a 2012 Jeep, okay? So instead of, spending all the money to go buy a brand new Jeep and get into debt, I bought what I could afford. Because I want my kids to have and the things that they need and most of the things that they want. I want to treat my kids well, and I want them to turn into wonderful adults that maybe can help make this world a better place, because I lose faith in humanity a little bit every day, I feel like, especially when we're following cases like these. And why
Can I go
people are
back
not
a little
putting their
bit?
kids why people are not putting their kids first. It's different as they start reaching adulthood and stuff, and you're trying to kind of push them into or ease them into adulthood. But you're talking 2-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds. They have done absolutely nothing to be treated like a piece of trash that you can throw away in the garbage.
Right. Can I address something real quick?
Yeah.
Um, the comment about the keeping the legs shut and stuff, but who we're conveniently living out all his scenarios is the male of the of the equation, and where the heck is all the fathers at, and where that's a big problem too. Is like the fathers just fear, and the girl is left being a single mom going out, and it takes two to tango. It's not just the girl; it's the boy too's responsibility, and this is why originally God says why He says don't have sex until you get married, husband and a wife together as a unit taking care of that kid, because it takes two to take care of that child and to protect that child and stuff. And then when the father's missing, then it's harder on the woman, and if she's not all totally right in the head and stuff, then you have these scenarios happen. And then of course you got the single mom, she's got to go out to work. What does she do with the kids? What if she can't afford child care? What's she gonna do with the
Right.
kids? Where the grandparents coming in to support that single mom that just had that baby. Okay, maybe that wasn't what you wanted for your child, but okay, she's got this baby. She's agreed to keep the baby, which is a wonderful thing in itself. Two wrongs don't make a right. Let's support that mom. And while the mom's okay, like the lady that works with us, you know who I'm talking about, my coworker.
Right.
Her daughter lives with her and her two kids, right? I mean, she's supporting her daughter and stuff. You think she's happy about the fact that she's got but she's supporting her daughter because she loves her grandkids and stuff. Love. It's all about love. I hate to bring it down. It sounds like a cliche, but there's the love of people, and the love, just your family love, is just it's missing and stuff. And so where's that dad that's supposed to be there to protect his kid? That's the father's supposed to be the leader of the family, protecting that family and that child and stuff. And he's not around. You don't hear about the father in some of these cases, like this one and the other one. Where's the dad at? I don't know. No responsibility there, because he just did it and left. Well,
Right.
it's not
Well, it
supposed to be
comes
that
back
way.
to two things. I'm telling you, two things: personal responsibility and selfishness. Both of those things are factors in all of this. If you're going to, lay down and possibly create a baby, you need to be willing to take responsibility for those actions. And the problem is, sex is disposable to everybody, like everything else we dispose of. And so, in turn, you have all these people who have now, in their head, and somehow their children, their spouses, everybody's becoming disposable to them because everything else in life is disposable.
Exactly.
Mandy Hall says, let me put this up here. You have to put your little children first. They didn't ask to be born. Mothers should have a bond that can't be broken. If you can't cope, give your children up. Don't kill them. I agree. There are plenty of people
Right.
who cannot have children
Absolutely.
that want children terribly bad. And they would be more than happy to take care of that child and give that child everything on the planet that they can give them. Give your child a better life if you have no intention of wanting to take care of them. It is not okay for you to take the life of your child, regardless whether it's because you lose your temper or because they're an inconvenience or whatever it is. Find somebody who can take care of them.
Right. Like I said, take her to a church on a Sunday. All the
Well,
people
right,
there, somebody's going to take that kid and do something.
Well, we have all of these places now where you can take your baby and drop them off. No questions asked. You won't be charged. Firehouses,
Right.
police stations, hospitals. If you're overwhelmed, because they don't want people killing their children. So if you are here in the United States, you can take your child to one of those places and they will happily find somebody to take care of your child so that you don't kill your child. And I understand people not wanting their kids ending up in foster care and all that kind of stuff. But if that's the case, then find somebody. Go through church organizations. Find somebody who wants to adopt your child. You can have them cover your medical
Right.
expenses and adopt your child, and you don't have to go through all of the rigmarole with, all of the processes, because there are so many. I've watched people try to adopt children. And the biggest reason why a lot of them are adopting children outside of this country is because it's easier. Even though it's way more expensive, it's easier. It's so much easier for
Right.
them to get accepted to adopt those children.
Right.
And it shouldn't be that
Right.
way.
My
It
former
should not
boss.
be that way. We should be taking care of the children in our own country first. So why in the world is it so hard for somebody to try to adopt a child that was born in this country instead of trying to, you know, displace another child from another country who probably is of a different race? And then you see these problems too. Those poor children, they don't have anybody around them that looks like them, or their culture. And so we make that easier in this country than allowing people to adopt children from these single parents, these single mothers who have way too many kids and they can't handle their situation. It's absolutely ridiculous. Someone, I'm sorry that you're crying. It's sad. It's very sad. And I don't understand why our system has gotten to the point where it's so difficult for somebody to adopt a child in this country from somebody in this country. You can go outside the country and you can get an African child, or there's a lot of South American countries, Latin America countries where you can, adopt children, and it's way expensive, but it's a whole lot easier. You're going to get approved a whole lot quicker than you will trying to
Oh,
adopt a
I
child
know.
from the United States. Selfish people. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
my
is.
former
It really
boss.
is. It's politics getting in the way of
Excuse me.
humanity is what that is. It's politics getting in the way of humanity. Very sad. Well, so I hope that we're going to watch this court case. So next Saturday, I'm sure there will be more. Um, Someone says Malachi 4:9. Let me look that up. You got your Bible there, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Let me see. This says 4:6.
there's no 4:9. You sure it's
What?
4:9?
Isn't that what I read? Did I read it right?
Not
4:9.
4:9.
This says 4:6. Maybe this is it. He will turn the hearts of parents to their children,
Yeah.
and the hearts of the children to their parents,
4:6. Yeah.
or else I will come and strike the land with total destruction.
Yeah. And
Or
that's
maybe
the
it was a
last
typo, because
days.
6 and 9 are right together.
Yeah, that's that's gonna happen in the last days. And right now we're in the days of the hearts. People's hearts will grow cold towards each other, and people will lack. I mean, in the last days, mark my words, Paul says, in the last days, people will be lovers of themselves, not having any natural affection and stuff. They'll be selfish, self-absorbed, disobedient to the parents and stuff. So, I mean, it's just, and we're seeing it. We're seeing it. We're seeing a whole generation that just are love. We're raising a bunch of narcissists that are all about themselves, their social media, and and look at me. I just took a new picture of me. Don't I look wonderful? I mean, look, I'm eating this. Look,
Look,
I'm
I'm
doing
eating this.
this.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's crazy. It's
Well,
absolutely insane.
in my defense, I did take a picture of my macaroni and cheese. Actually, it wasn't to put it on Discord last night. It was actually to send to my son, because, it's just the little things like that. Sometimes he sends me little silly pictures, like he sent me a picture of his bed being made this morning. Those things are different than the way that these really selfish people are being. So before these things
They
scroll
don't
up
know
too
anything
far,
else.
before these things scroll up too far, I want to go through some of these comments. Someone says, "Look, I am sending you the prophet Elijah before the great and dreadful day of the Lord arrives." Mrs. Roger Rabbit said, "If you don't get approved in the U.S., there is usually a reason. I know several people who have adopted with no issues. People aren't always who you think they are." No, I honestly, these people, I know exactly who they were, and the red tape was terrible for them to try to adopt in the U.S., and it was much easier for them to adopt out of the country. His preaching will turn the hearts of fathers to their children and the hearts of children to their fathers. Otherwise, I will come and strike the land with a curse. Malachi 4:5-6. Oh my gosh. They call them the me generation for a reason. That was the last verse of the Old Testament. I do that when I make my daughter's favorite LD. That's insane. That's different if you're not taking pictures of yourself with pouty lips and posing like a model, right? Yeah, I don't do that, because you've seen me, right? Like I don't look like a model at all. I don't even wear makeup, and I don't dye my hair. I want my family to see what they're doing to me. The fact that my hair is thinning and I'm turning very gray. I want them all to see what they've done to me, because I feel like it's they deserve to look at it. They've done it to me. No, it is. It's this it's this me generation, and and the disposableness of everything, and we're a throwaway society, and all of these things are all coming together, and I think it's a lot of where these problems are coming from. I can't imagine that across history there have been so many people with mental illnesses as there are today. There's a reason for that. I mean, none of the food we eat is the same or normal. Like, you look at the fact that the big company Monsanto is suing small farmers for their using their seed when they're not using their seed. It's the birds. The birds are eating things and dropping those seeds everywhere, and so none of our food is, is not cross-contaminated with
Right.
genetically altered stuff. We can't avoid it anymore because of the way that nature works. The birds eat from this field or this field. They don't care. And when they're going to the bathroom all over the place when they're flying, they have no control of where that's going, and then it grows up later. Mandy Hall says you can account for every gray hair. I sure can. Dang right. And then when one falls out and two more grows in, I'm like, see, Samantha, see what you did to me? God warned us, but provided a way out. Jesus Christ, drugs and alcohol, greed. Yeah, I mean, we have all these people that are mentally have mental problems. You have all these people addicted to drugs and alcohol and gambling, and these people are addicted to these things because they're looking for solace from something that's going on in their life, or whatever feelings they're having in their head. Oh, it must be another quarter of an hour, huh? Well, I really don't want to keep you all day, and I thank everybody for coming today. So anything new that comes out, anything new that comes out in any of these cases within the next week, we will cover again next Saturday. We will be listening to this case of the death of this young child throughout the week. So we'll have updates next Saturday for that. I did not see anything new about the last week we talked about the police officers that were playing Russian roulette. I did not see anything new on that case, but if anything new comes up on that case, we'll discuss it again next Saturday. Okay, but the genetic modification has been happening since 1600s, crossbreeding. Yeah, but this is a whole lot different. This is scientific lab. That's a whole different ball game. But thank you everybody for coming. I hope you enjoyed our stream. If you are new and have not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. I say that knowing that YouTube does not always send out notifications. If you join my Discord, which the link for that is always in the description of the videos. It's also on the About tab of the channel. I always update people in there. I'm also in there a lot. You can ask questions, join voice chat, and talk to me, anything. So there's definitely ways to keep in contact with me through there. And as always, we will be here next Saturday for another true crime discussion. During the week, I usually stream my World of Warcraft gameplay. Tuesdays, I've started doing a topical conversation while I'm kind of casually doing stuff in the game. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested in partaking in those discussions. I can't take any more. Please pray for the children. Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually going to start doing memorial videos for these people of cases that we've covered. Great chat, Tiger and Maria. Thank you, Eminem Mama, for the children praying. Mandy Hall says, thank you. This was a great live. I like honesty. Take care, everyone. Bye. All right. So hopefully we will see you next time. Please share this out if you know anybody else who might be interested in the things that we do here on this channel. We're trying to obviously, get word out so that we can get more people in here and have better conversations and more fruitful conversations. Have a wonderful weekend. If I don't talk to you or see you before, I will catch you next time. Thank you, Maria, for coming as always, and thank you, moderators, for being here to help out, even though luckily we normally don't have too many problems. All right, I will see you next time. Take care. God bless.